Yeah, no sound.
Thank you.
Can you hear us, Bill?
I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go ahead and start this council study session for Tuesday, October 10th, 2023 at 6 p.m. So we don't have any old business. We're going to go ahead and go on to 3 new business. We're going to have a presentation for a cross connection program. So if we can get somebody who's in charge, so then go ahead and step to the podium, state your name, your information, and we will go from there.
I'm Carrie Wise. This is my husband Paul Wise and our son James Wise. And Paul and I are certified backflow assembly testers and have been for over 30 years, a long time. Anyway, so the cross connection program is a program that the health department has put into effect, and it's a federal program. And in April 9th of 1999, they mandated that all cities have a cross connection program that they run to make sure that their drinking water is safe. And so if the whole outline, just a little loud. So the cross connection program is to make sure that there's that anytime there's a possibility of a cross connection, you've got somebody that is watching, keeping track, sending out letters, notifications, making sure that the drinking water is safe. And so the city of Manton is committed to providing the citizens with superior drinking water by developing cross-connection backflow program. The program is essential to ensure quality, safe drinking water, and with your help, the program can be effective and successful. Now, it's what the program that should be implemented. First of all, or why the program should be implemented. Backflow occurrences happen every day, and we've heard about it in the valley. We've had Ranger had a boil water. I think Toppenish had a boil water. There was one area in Yakima that had boiled water. What happens is that the water gets contaminated because of a backflow event, and so it can go back into essentially all your storage water and contaminate your wells. So if you're not careful, and that's like the most drastic thing. But the reason why the federal government put it into effect is because people were dying because of cross connection. It keeps your water quality better. It prevents, its prevention is very cost effective. It takes only a little structure to prevent a backflow, and backflow incidences can cause millions. Who does what for the program? The city, they have a simple and clear backflow program, a statement and customer contract requiring backflow compliance as a term of service. All residential homes have a double check valve or other connections to have a reduced pressure device, send letters and which educate and remind the customers of the obligation, provide a list of approved testers, track compliance and document your program, and a water system may choose to offer in-house testing. So you have a choice. And that's something that you guys have to decide on, is whether you want to contract with somebody to come in and do the testing for you, and but you guys have to keep track of it. So you have to have somebody that's actually taking the time to take care of it. The citizens, it's an education program because, and I told you the story too, let's say you have a sprinkler head that breaks, and underground sprinkler systems are causes for a backflow event. And the dogs urinate on the bush above it, and you're not going to fix that until the spring. Well, all that urine goes down into the pipe, and if there's a fire or any reason why the pump shut down, there's any kind of suction, it can suck all of that into the drinking water. And it'll either go into your house or the neighbor's house. So you don't want that to happen. Baby pools happen that way too. The cross connection here on the next one is you've got hose bibs, lawn irrigation, jacuzzi, swimming pools, and toilet bowl cocks. But that's plumbing code. This is part of plumbing code also. And so you guys have to decide what your minimum and max, what you want to have covered on it. You need to have it on carbonators. Well, here, the common cross connections are wash basins, lavatories, equipment, irrigation lawn sprinkler systems, swimming pools, spas, fire sprinkler systems, auxiliary water supplies such as wells and storage tanks, photo development equipment, x-ray machines, anything like that, chemical feed equipment. That's for somebody who does a spray process and they're filling their tanks. The city, I'm sure, does that. I know we tested one for the city that's for filling the tanks to spray. Food and beverage processing equipment and boilers and hose bibs. So there's lots of places where it could be. I know the school has quite a few. I can't remember how many they have, but they have quite a few. Sprinkler systems, and we talked about this, carbonators for soda machines. There's medical or dental offices, funeral homes. You have the farm up there, the nursery. And do you know if they have places where they hook up water to fill tanks that have chemicals in them? And if they're keeping an air gap? So that would be something that you want to make sure there's an isolation so they don't accidentally backfeed. And it's mostly accident. It's mostly accident. The different types of backflow is reversal of flow of water and other substances or mixtures into the drinking water. And it can happen two ways, back siphon or back pressure. So the types of backflow, the back pressure you can see on page 7 is the back pressure or siphonage. Everybody's tried to siphon gas out of a tank or water from one thing to another and you suck on the hose. Baby pools do the same thing. If there's any kind of draw on the water, it'll pull it into the system. Why do you need one? Why do you need water supply cross control connection and protection for the public water system? It says backflow into public water system can pollute and contaminate the water in that system. Backflow into public water system can make the water in that system unusable and unsafe to drink. And each water supplier has the responsibility to provide water that is usable and safe to drink under all foreseeable circumstances. Furthermore, consumers generally have an absolute faith in the water delivered to them through a public water system and it's always safe drinking. For these reasons, each water supplier must take reasonable precautions to protect the public water system against backflow. So, cross connection. There's a premise with an auxiliary. I can read that. You guys can read that. A backflow preventer is there's different ones. So there's an air gap. Your faucet that you fill your bathtub with and your sinks. Have you ever noticed that the filler is always above the edge of the tub? That's an air gap that makes sure that no water can siphon back in. Now people put little nozzles and stuff on those so that on the water coming in and lay them in the bathtub because they have kids or whatever, they're rinsing their hair. And so that's a possible of a siphon back into the system. Atmospheric vacuum vapor is, it's called AVB, there's a pressure vacuum breaker is a PVV. There's dual or double check valves and reduced pressure vacuum backflow preventers. RP. So here's some styles that you get to see.
I always like this. They require to have this one.
Right, so that should be in part of your code as far as putting in a sprinkler.
So those cost $386.
Oh, yes, they are not cheap. And they need to be installed properly. So that's the other thing. If you have a certified backflow assembly tester doing the testing, they're your eyes and ears as far as checking. You should have somebody on code enforcement, or when they do the building inspections, plumbing inspections, they need to look at those and see that they're installed properly. And that should be part of your permit process. So there's a lot more information. And then if we go to page 13, it says, why do backflow preventers have to be tested yearly? And the problem is that they're made of plastic or rubber and metal. And so if somebody cuts a line, I don't care who you are, it is hard to keep a rock getting into that line. People are cutting into your city water. You want to make sure that it's protected. And so we've had incidences where in Sunnyside, the coffee shop was calling us because their water was dripping out of the RP. And we went in and took it apart, and there were rocks in the first check valve, which means that's the incoming side. So they were doing work on the water system, and some rocks got into the system. That happens all the time. And also somebody downline could be doing something and a rock can come back and fail the second check. That's why it's a redundant system. So that at least one check hopefully is in working condition at all times. But like I said, they're rubber, they're springs, they're plastic inside. So that's why they need to be checked yearly. Something as small as a piece of Teflon tape can make them fail. Yeah, just a small piece of Teflon tape. It's ridiculous. Sometimes we take them apart and we don't even see what made the one fail, and we put it back together and it tests fine. So so that's why a cross connection program is something that you want to look at. Now, there are things that you guys have to decide, and that is, do you have an ordinance that requires a backflow assembly on these different things, on these different hazards? Do you have somebody that can keep track and go and look around, see how many sprinkler systems you have, see how many, what they're called is table 9s. Those are the ones we saw. You've got a laundromat here that should probably have one on it. You've got probably soda fountain machines. We haven't looked inside stores, but soda fountain machines should have one on it. I know the Dollar General, when it was built, it has one on it. And then sprinkler systems are the other thing, is making sure that sprinkler systems have it on there. Part of, if you have somebody in-house, boots on the ground, they can go around and inspect. They can go around and check. Using your utility bills to check and see, because some people have irrigation water, some people don't. They're using city water to water their yards. You can tell by their city usage, water usage, their utility bills, what they have, and then you have to basically go physically check. And then somebody to keep track of the tests, keep track of sending out the letters, keep track of making sure that things are done yearly, and then fill out the paperwork for the health department at the end of the year.
So this is the first time I've heard of this, like I mentioned to you. I know my past admin had never brought this to my attention, so that's why something, yeah, something that Vera and Tootie may know, they've been on the council a long time. So do you know?
Yeah.
Why did you hear?
One of the old bid
Mhm.
that was passed out that people would put on the faucets outside. And what happened after that, I didn't know.
Right, so those are any siphons so that the hose doesn't suck back into the house, right?
And we had got them.
Yeah, well, so the health department had mandated all the cities do this on April 9th, 1999. You were supposed to have a program put together for it. And I know we've done the test on the school district a few times.
So
It's usually every other year.
have you done any here in Mapton lately?
We
that
just
you
did
know?
all of the city ones today.
Okay, so can you check back? Can we go in and look at the health department, see if they have it on record when the last time we actually had it checked?
Did it in 21.
Yeah.
The last time we did the city ones,
The whole city? Okay, and it has to be done once a year.
and it's supposed to be done once a year
So we're
because
out
they
of
could
compliance.
fail.
So we're out of compliance.
Well, now you're not because I just got
Okay.
them done.
Okay.
And I sent a copy to Joe
Mhm.
to his email. So he's got a copy of all of the test reports that we did today.
Okay.
So are you doing this in all the cities now?
We we're certified backflow testers, and so we have a business, and we have people that we do tests for in Sunnyside, Grandview. We've been up to Granger. We do Prosser, Benton City,
But
Richmond.
is that all the city? The whole city's doing it?
The whole city, yeah, each city has their own program.
Okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
So we have to have an ordinance for this, correct?
Correct. So you have to have an ordinance set out that says that each one has to be tested. Now, I noticed that you do have a permit cost for installing a sprinkler system
Okay.
at City Hall. So
What's the fee on that real quick, Susan? Do you know?
$25. So whether you have somebody once they, I don't know how you have it set up. Does somebody go out and inspect the sprinkler system once it's been installed? Or do they just get a permit and that's it?
So last year I didn't hear anybody coming in to get a sprinkler. I don't know if anybody's come in since the spring. So I think.
The Dollar General didn't get one?
She-
was it on the
Dollar
whole
General
building
was here. They were here before she came in, so
Oh.
that'd be something we need to look into. But I would assume we do have an ordinance. We have a $25 permit. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
So those are things that you guys need to decide and how you want to do it. Do you want the people that have one to pay for the test? Do you want to hire a certified tester to come in and just do all the ones in the city and then charge the customer, the residents on their water bill? Do you want to add a few bucks to everybody's water bill and just make it so it's a citywide, everybody contributing to the safety of your city's water? It's kind of up to you and how you have your municipal things set up on which way you do it. Now there are outside, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How, I know, I think you told me the price of, if you all were to come in and do it, it would be between $45 to $50.
Correct. That's
And
what we
then
charge.
you gave me the idea of adding just a couple of dollars per month per water bill, for the customer. So that would be something we'd have to talk about, and then we'd have to bring it back and talk about it again, and then make sure we have our ordinance in place, and
Yeah, you have a lot of work
Yeah.
to decide on how to do it, but the health department's report is usually due in April for the previous year. Now, I know we've done the school district backflow tests. And we've done it 2 or 3 times, but it's like every other year. they call us.
Okay, so are you doing all like the letters to the resident?
No, because that's your program.
Okay, so, okay,
So our son is capable of running the program, and there's a program, a computer program that you can use that keeps track and so on. Or you can get an outside company. The problem with the outside company is that nobody's here physically looking. You have to send them your database. So you have to collect the database no matter what.
and I believe Joe was gonna go ahead and start doing the footwork. I'm just not sure when. They've been so busy, but I will talk to him tomorrow and see what, he decided or what day they're gonna do it.
So
About
it's-
to check the sprinkler systems.
It'll take more than one day.
Well, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what their schedule is like right now. So,
So part of it is looking at the utility bills. You can tell if somebody's got a sprinkler system by looking at their usage during the winter and the summer.
Be hard.
that's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
And here, the customers, they got a water hose and sprinkler.
Yeah.
Running for 2 or 3 hours,
Oh,
maybe more than that, maybe all day.
I'm an
the
all
state
day.
of water.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely.
I'm an all dayer.
So,
Oh,
Oh, yeah. I like my grass to be nice and green and nice. So,
but I guess we need to require to have the double check valve after the water meter next to it, and that's all for everybody.
yeah. So
How
if
much
it's on
new
the,
system water.
on the sprinkler system, it's, you have your meter. And then you come off of the line goes to the house and you tee off of that. And then you put a shut off, a blowout and a double check.
Double check valve, absolutely.
The big ones that you have to worry about though are the table nines. Those are the ones with chemicals involved. So that's laundromat, carbonators, your nursery out here. Right, so anything that chemicals could be added to or used or it's around, it could be sucked back in. That doesn't have an air gap. That's on city water, yeah. So it's gonna take legwork to look at those things and make sure that your table nines are covered, because those are gonna be the highest possibility of a backflow event.
I do. So if a person just has from the pipe in the alley, goes straight to the house, you don't have to put one of those everything you sign it, because all we have is rocks.
Double
You
check.
have
that.
Arizona front lawn.
Yeah. No, so that's again, that's something that the city council has to
Yeah,
decide
okay,
whether
somebody
they
has-
want. So Sunnyside has premise isolation, where right after the meter, they put in a double check, they have a suite. They put in a double check valve and then all the water goes to the house and everything in that and on the property. Prosser has, if you have a sprinkler system and it's in ground, even if it's just drip line, that water can back up on, and so you have to have one on the sprinkler system if you're using city water. So it's kind of, those are questions that you guys have to decide what way you want to go.
so each resident would have to have the system if they have a sprinkler system.
Yes, and the house producer may have to have the double check valve,
Minimum.
minimum, yeah.
And so then if you guys want everybody to have one to make sure that everybody's safe, you can do that too. But it takes a lot because they have to have a pressure tank on top of their hot water heater to make sure that yeah. So there's quite a bit you have to do. On new construction, you can mandate it. But on old construction,
Certain is hard to do.
yeah, but it would be a lot. And any reputable landscaper that's putting in a sprinkler system should be putting in a double
They
check valve.
shouldn't know, but some people, they don't have not even license.
Tell me
So
about
we
it.
have to keep an eye on those people.
And that's something that your city crews can just keep an eye on. you can tell when somebody's trenching for a sprinkler system. Everybody just be aware of it and keep their eyes open. Even the police officers, when they're driving around, they could tell whether somebody's trenching to do a sprinkler system, and just kind of, note that address and see what they're hooking up to. If they got a permit. Because that's part of with enforcement in the police.
Yes.
So that would be part of something that they could do to help just the community help everybody keep up and keep the standard high.
Questions for them?
It's a lot of information.
It was, yeah, it's good information.
No, I got it. I got it, everything.
And there's more information. There's different things that you can look up and delve deeper into it.
Okay.
But again, this is something that the federal and the health department will be asking for the reports.
In April, they'll be out.
Yeah, usually they're due in April. So you get a warning ahead of time.
Us now for our crop management program, and other data. So I might need to reach out to you
Okay.
about, if you'll have your contact info.
Yes. And he's got the reports, so you can always check back on the reports.
Thank you for the presentation.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for the information.
And if
Yeah.
anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me. My phone forwards to my cell phone, so if write them down and text them to me would be good, and I can, respond to you as quickly as possible.
Go ahead and give me your number.
It's 509-973-3155.
Okay.
And what was your name again?
Carrie,
Carrie.
Kerry. And if I don't know the answer, I've got resources. So I contact all kinds of people trying to, with questions. So, all right. Thank you
Okay,
very
thank
much
you.
for your
Thank
time. I
you.
appreciate it.
Okay, so, so anybody have anything more to add? Before we close this?
What I want to know, Trudy, how come you hadn't mentioned it? Since I've been on, I never heard about it. How come you hadn't mentioned it? About this cross thing that we had the meeting on right now? About the water.
Also have to be verified for a long time ago, that's when, they quit doing their own hookup here in town.
And what year was that?
Yeah, because
2021? Because I never knew anything about this.
That's why the city crew doesn't do their own hookups anymore, because
they not licensed, right? They don't have
because
license.
they didn't have anybody that was certified for cross connection. And it was supposed to be somebody that was certified to do that. That's why they were started hiring contractors to do the hookup.
When I build my house, I be by myself. And I got this picture for you. I can come in and check everything.
So I guess we can look back on this stuff with the health department to see, before 2021, who was in charge of it or who put those, installed them. Because I have not seen a permit come through for sprinkler system at all.
Start building these new houses out here. City crew stop doing their own hookup. Somebody certified.
Yeah, my question was when those guys do the irrigation in the park, if they install a double check valve. And I checked in the irrigation specialist for that 2-inch double check valve. They say they ordered, but I don't know if they put it on, installed it or not.
And we can check our blueprint and stuff with that we have. And we can reach out to, what's the name, Ellie Saylor? Yeah. Yeah. And make sure. But I believe that I saw, when I saw the paperwork, I did see something about a valve. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the double check valve costs
Yeah.
maybe like with $1,400.
Okay. All right, so, okay, so, any other new business? Okay, you got anything? We did, but Jamin, had not gotten anything back yet. He's checking still on the numbers for the chlorination system. So, he wasn't ready for that, so he said next meeting he'll have something. Okay. And, I think that's it. Nobody has anything else. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and adjourn this